Hey guys, Evan here with the Professional Amateur, and today we're going to be talking about the Sony RX100 Mark V custom button setup. Let's get started. The RX100 is a small but powerful camera. There are a few key settings that you want to pay attention to make sure that you're getting the most out of your RX100. So today I'm going to walk you through the custom settings that I use in my cinematic filmmaking. Okay, so let's get started. Here we have the RX100 Mark V. I'm going to go over the custom buttons that I've set up so far for video, and then I'll go into my memory recall settings here. So the RX100 has a limited amount of custom buttons, but you do have a custom button here, and you can also customize your dial setup here. So I'm going to first go into the bottom right button, which has a trash can on it. That for me is going to be set as my white balance. Its default is auto, but obviously I can change this to my preference. I have not changed my record button as I did on my A7R2 and 6500, as it's easy to access here. In the center dial here, in the center button, I have that saved as center lock on autofocus. So when I'm in flexible spot mode, I'm able to access my center lock on autofocus. The right control here is going to be set to my picture profile. As you see here, I have in fact set this to PP4 like I've set on my 6500 and A7R2. That way I have continuity between each of my cameras. If you hit the right button, this is where it gets very important. I would highly suggest that you set your ND filter as one of the custom button settings. This will be important, and I'll explain this in a second. It'll be important that you're quickly able to switch this on and off in the camera without digging through your function setup. The only thing that I have not put in a custom button here on the outside of the camera would be my focus zone or focus area, and you can access that by just pushing the function button here. And also the focus mode I have left in the function button, since it's still very easy to access. Moving on to the memory recall settings, this camera allows you to save up to 3 presets. I've saved only 2. You can access these presets by going into your function and going to the bottom right and then hitting here. You can access the menu to set up your memory recall just as you would like to do on your 6500 or your A7R2. It's the same process, but I'm going to go over what I actually have my presets set at. So my preset 1, you'll have to make sure that your dial here is set into memory recall, or here it's abbreviated as MR. And you're going to want to make sure that these settings on the left hand side are your defaults. So I have continuous autofocus, wide zone. For 1080p at 120 frames per second, my neutral density filter is turned off. That's because since my shutter speed is so high, I don't need it on. So it's also very good to note or bear in mind that I'm shooting in shutter priority just like my 6500 and A7R2, and I'm also shooting in picture profile number 4. This guarantees continuity between all 3 cameras. That way I don't have to worry about fooling with it in post. So if I were to switch to my second memory preset, this is going to be at 4K 30 frames per second. You can see I'm still abiding by the 180 degree shutter rule, so my shutter speed is at 1/60. My defaults are continuous autofocus, wide zone, but here my neutral density filter is on. The reason that is because since my shutter speed is so low, it'll be allowing a lot more light in. So if I'm shooting outside, I'm most likely going to be overexposing the daylight. So what I want to do is turn my neutral density filter on. That way I can get a proper exposure and a good dynamic range for the entire shot. Now if you're still shooting in 4K and you go inside, all you have to do is hit that left button and turn it off. It's that easy. Alright, professional amateurs, now let's review. The bottom right is going to be your white balance. The right hand switch on your dial is going to be your picture profile setting. The center button is going to be center lock on autofocus. That's for tracking subjects in flexible spot mode. Your left button is going to be your neutral density filter on or off toggle. Now, to access your focus area and then your focus mode, you're going to want to hit the function button. And then you'll see here, you're going to have your focus area and focus mode. Now also, to access your memory presets, you're going to want to hit the focus button and go down to the bottom right here where it says MR1. And this here, you'll be able to select your presets that you have here. Okay, now let's actually go into the video presets that I have. So my first preset is going to be for slow motion. That's going to be at 120 frames per second. That's also going to be at 1080p. What you notice here, in this mode, I have it at continuous autofocus, wide angle zone, neutral density filter off, picture profile 4, 1/250th of a second shutter speed. I'm shooting shutter priority, and I'm also in auto white balance. Now, if I go into function and go into memory recall 2, my second memory recall is going to be at 4K at 30 frames per second. Over here, I'm going to have my continuous autofocus, wide angle zone, neutral density filter is going to be on, and my picture profile is going to be 4. My shutter speed is at 1/60th of a second, and I'm also in shutter priority. There you have it. These are my video settings for shooting cinematic films with my Sony RX100 Mark V. Hey guys, thanks for watching this tutorial. If you like content like this and you want to see more, please consider subscribing. Leave all your questions and comments below. I'm happy to answer them all. And please don't forget to smash that like button. Thanks a lot guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.